Hello everybody, I am Jedi Jack Penguin and welcome back to another LEGO Minecraft review. So today we're going to be celebrating 10 years of LEGO Minecraft by taking a look back at the first 4 sets that helped launch the theme. These sets include set numbers 21102, the Minecraft Microworld The Forest, which was our third ever LEGO Idea set, or LEGO Cuusoo as it was called back then. This set includes 480 pieces and 2 microfigs retailing for $34.99 when it released 10 years ago in June of 2012. The following year, in September 2013, we'd see LEGO release 2 more sets under the Microworld sub-theme, these being set numbers 21105 The Village, including 466 pieces and 3 microfigs, and set number 21106 The Nether, including 469 pieces and again 3 microfigs. And lastly, in June of 2014, we'd get our very last set for the sub-theme, that being set number 21107 The End, which included 440 pieces and 4 microfigs, or 5 if you count the dragon. Now, just like the first set I've mentioned, these sets all retailed for $34.99 in the US when they initially released. Adjusted for inflation in 2022, these sets would now cost about $45 to $50 in the US, which I feel is rather overpriced for what you get. Now with all the boring details out of the way, it's time to take a look at all of these sets individually, and then we'll combine them at the end. Now the first set we're going to look at is of course The Forest, the very first LEGO Minecraft set to ever release. We get 2 of these microfigs, the first one being Steve, where you get these 2 exclusive prints on those 1x1 plate pieces for the eyes and then one for the nose and the mouth area. No other prints, you get that plain brick piece for the body, and the regular plate pieces and also the tile from the very top for the hair. Additionally, for the creeper, you get another exclusive print on that brick piece for the regular creeper face. You get another brick piece, and then you get one of these jumper plates from the bottom just to complete the look. Now looking at the build included for the Forest micro build, of course, just like all of the other sets that we're going to look at, you can split these up into individual sections, which is really nice. You can see that we get these Technic axles that can combine 4 of these together and will also help you combine others if you get them within your collection. Additionally, if you want to take a closer look inside, you can also lift off the top areas here where you can see that we just have these little stud connections to take a closer look inside the caves, where you can see some lava flow and a little bit of water in here, and some other various blocks to represent the stone ground underneath. I also really appreciate all of the tiling off that's included within this set. You have this tan to represent the sandy colors, and these greens to represent the grass, the browns to represent the dirt, and you also have a tree over here where you have, again, brown to represent the bark on the tree, which is really interesting. I think that they could have done a dark brown just to make it a little bit different than the color that is used for the dirt, though that's not really anything to complain about. Additionally, we use the brown to create this little hut here, or this little house. You get that tiled off from the top as well, and these translucent pieces to act as windows. You also have a little entrance, though really the only problem that I have to mention is the fact that your character doesn't really fit in there. I mean, you can put him in like that, but that doesn't really help you. Lifting up this part, you can see inside here we get this metallic gold bar, which is, I guess, supposed to represent gold found underneath in the cave areas, which is kind of weird. I would have liked to see them maybe do some special prints for some of the different ingots down here, but I mean, it is what it is. For the time period, you get a little bit of water down there and some more different stone variations. And lastly, for these 2 sections, we have another one with a small tree, a little bit more water flow and some grass and some sand. And lift that up, get another one of those golden ingots in there, and you can see a little bit of water and a little bit of lava flow from within that side. And to finish this one off, we have a bit of a mountain where we have some more lava flow going on there. We also have one of these Technic bricks from the side, which I think is supposed to represent like an entrance to a cave, which I think is really clever that they were able to do that. You don't see those anywhere else within this model. You can lift this up, see a little bit of water flow, and again, just that same sort of build up when it comes to the inside of that little cave area. As I said, you can really put these in any way or shape that you want. You can even move these top pieces and switch them around if you don't like where they are. There really isn't anything that I would change. Maybe a few of the colors I would change, like maybe for some of the wood colors for like the house and also the trees I would change. And of course adding some more printed pieces for different like ingots down here on some 1x1 plate pieces. Following up with the village build, we get 3 microfigs in here. The first one being the villager, where you get again 2 more exclusive prints on those 1x1 plate pieces to make up the eyes and then the nose and mouth area, and you get some other 1x1s just to complete the job. Zombie also features 2 more exclusive 1x1 plate piece prints for the face area. And lastly, the cutest of all the micro mobs, we have the pig, where you get an exclusive print on this 1x1 tile piece, and you get this brick with the 2 studs on each end in pink, which is, I believe, an exclusive color to this set still to this day. I really like how they decided to include the studs on both sides, just because the stud is probably supposed to represent a tail. Now looking at the build included, unlike the first set that we just looked at, we have a lot of varying differences when it comes to the color scheme, especially when it comes to like the terrain layout. We use a lot more of this dark green as opposed to the regular green color, though this is also probably supposed to represent more of like a swampy biome. We also get that little bit of the lime green, which I really like getting in this set. When it comes to the 2 village houses, I am kind of confused as to why they're using a light gray for the bottom area here, because normally are these supposed to be made out of wood? I mean, it's just kind of confusing. We also use these cheese slope pieces in translucent to represent the windows, which I think is a nice use. You also get a different color for like the roofing colors, and I really like how they built this particular roof that I think is very cleverly built. When it comes to the farming area over here, we also use the tan to surround it, which is supposed to represent wood, though we also use this color to represent sand in the other set, so that's kind of confusing. Though we also get some weird colors when it comes to the vegetation that they have here. I would have liked to maybe have seen like some different colors here, and also I would have liked to have seen brown underneath this particular section instead of the green, because it's just, again, kind of weird, the color scheme. From the very back, you get a little mountain, which is also covered in some snow, which I really appreciate, adding that little bit of difference to this particular biome. Now, removing all of these, we're going to take a look inside. Underneath the mountain, you can see that we have part of a mine shaft, which you'll see continue into some of the other builds. We have these great pieces to represent the tracks, and we also have a clip piece connection with a flame to represent a torch, which I think could have been done better. Maybe they could have included a paintbrush here as a torch. I think that would have worked a lot better. You can see a lot of the light grays and dark grays just to represent a lot of the blocks that you'll see underground. Underneath this section, we have another section of the mine shaft, where you can see we have these 2 plate pieces stacked on top of each other, one in red and one in white. This is supposed to represent TNT. Additionally, from the back side, you can also remove this section to represent the TNT exploding to open up a pathway into another section of the build. Underneath the vegetation, you can see we have another piece of TNT, which you can actually knock out another section of the wall here, which I think is really neat that you can do that. And again, the same sort of buildup when it comes to like the torch and also just the gateway there. Again, that's supposed to represent wood, which is kind of weird that we have a bunch of different colors for wood within this particular set. And lastly, underneath this section, you can see some more track and another torch and that wooden gateway for the mine shaft. Following the village, we have the Nether, which released alongside it. We have one really interesting side build to go along with your characters, being the Nether portal, where we use some black pieces to represent the obsidian and this translucent purple to represent the portal that your characters can go through, which I might as well bring Steve over here and mention yet again that these characters are a little too tall to actually go through these, so it is just kind of weird when it comes to some of the size comparisons between your characters and some of the builds included. Additionally, looking at your characters, we get an exclusive print on this 1x1 brick for the zombie pigmen. Unfortunately, this means that this set is outdated because I'm pretty sure zombie pigmen don't exist in the Nether anymore. You also get this golden knife for its sword, which is also quite nice. You get that connected via the clip piece, and some other 1x1s just to round out the character. And lastly, we get 2 ghasts in this set, which is a really interesting build-up. You can see that we use one of these tile pieces with the studs on the top to close up this 2x2 brick, where you get the exclusive print for the ghast, and you can see that the brick has the studs from the bottom where you can put these cheese slopes just to represent the little legs from the bottom, which I think is a really clever build-up for these guys. You get 2 of them, which helps bring a little bit of danger to the Nether. One of the things that I do have to minorly complain about when it comes to this set, considering we get this Nether portal, is that there really isn't anywhere to put it. I mean, you could put it here on that stud, you can put it there on that stud, or maybe even flip it over here. There isn't really a lot of places to put it. I guess LEGO is thinking you'll just remove pieces here and there till you find a spot to place it, but as someone who usually likes to keep their sets intact, that doesn't really work for me. But anyways, looking from the very top of these builds, you can see a lot of the dark red mixing with the light and dark gray to represent a lot of the different blocks going on. You have some netherrack, some gravel, some bedrock. As we move down here, you can see some of the flowing lava represented by that orangish yellow color. We also have these translucent yellow pieces to represent the glowstone in the very back, which I think is very clever. Again, you just get a lot of lava represented by that yellowish orange and a little bit of that translucent orange as well. This bottom section is also supposed to represent the Nether Fortress, which is something that is fairly different, I believe, in current day Minecraft, so it's really interesting to see this particular representation. Just like the village set, we have torches represented by these flame pieces, which is kind of annoying. You also have these little lava pits, as you would see within the Nether Fortress back in the day. From the other side, you can see again a lot of the different builds for just the platforms and a lot of the lava flow and different colors to represent different blocks within Minecraft. Now, separating these pieces, you don't really get to see any other details from the interiors, though what you can do is, of course, you can separate these and place them in whichever order that you want. And that brings us to the very end of this video with the end. One thing that I think is really neat about this set is the fact that LEGO decided to include 4 of these little Endermen. We get this exclusive print on this 1x1 plate piece, which you'll also see on the Ender Dragon when we look at him in a second. You get these studs from the side for the arms, so you can move those back and forth. You can bring them to the front and have him carry a little block, or you can just have him walking around, strolling, and having a good time in the end. As I said, you get 4 of these guys, which is really cool to see LEGO including multiples, kind of like an army building situation. Now, removing the Ender Dragon, you can see that we get a few of these transclear pieces just to represent him flying. Again, we get that exclusive print on that 1x1 plate piece for the eyes. I also really like the little stud from the very front there, just for like the nose area, and also that cheese slope for the ears. You also get that for the ridges on the back. Clip piece connections for the wings, which are really nice to get in that black color. And you can see that we get one of these pole pieces or staff pole pieces from the back to represent the tail area. Now, compared to the other builds we just looked at, we don't really have a lot going on the underside of the build. We get a lot more of a studded area compared to the tiling off that we saw within the other build, which I actually appreciate when it comes to placing your characters. You can place them all within these side sections of the build if you don't have anywhere else to put them, and it also helps with storage because you can't place them on the top because that's all tiled off. From the top area, you get a lot of these obsidian pillars, which feature the regeneration crystal from the very top, represented by this 1x1 tile piece in translucent purple. This is what the Ender Dragon uses to heal itself. You can place the Ender Dragon on that stud right there. As we move back around, you can see that we have the end portal, which also happens to have this black stud on the very top, which is supposed to represent the Ender Dragon egg, which is something that you would get at the end of fighting the Ender Dragon. So I think that's a really nice detail that they decided to include. And of course, you can plop your character within the portal to get back to the human world. Another thing that I might as well mention is that this particular location is also fairly outdated, just like the Nether, because there are other mobs and locations that are included in the modern day game that are not included within this particular situation. Now, when combining all these sets together, the only set not to feature Technic pins on the outside is the end, because you get all of these open spaces. Of course, you can separate all of these and connect it to the edges of these, though that doesn't really make any sense, nor does it make any sense to connect the Nether to any of these other sections. I mean, I guess you could connect it and then have like the portal leading into it, kind of, but then again, that still just doesn't really make a lot of sense, these being connected. So in reality, the only thing that really makes any sense is doing this. There you go, we have both the forest and the village connected. That's really the only combination that makes any sense, though of course, as I said, you can also connect the Nether, and then you can, I guess, just plop the portal here-ish, kind of, and then it's kind of like something that leads into the Nether. I guess that kind of makes some sense. There you go, there's a look at these all connected. And then, as I said, you can, I guess, just toss this off to the side. There isn't any connections from the outside to allow you to actually connect this, but of course you can just put it off to the side, and there you go, you have all four sets sort of connected together. It's kind of like a mix match of messy colors. Now, is this worthy of display? I'm not really sure. I mean, I guess if you're nostalgic for LEGO Minecraft like me, I guess this is something nice to have on display. And of course, there is the other option where you can actually remove this and plop this off to the side here, and then just plop this at the very end. And then you have all four of them in a row, even though this one doesn't really connect to the village very well because we don't have that other Technic connection there. So overall, we have these sets to thank for paving the way for LEGO Minecraft's future. It's amazing to see the continued love and support that this theme gets from LEGO and fans alike. I remember when these sets first came out, I was very excited because Minecraft was a really big thing in those days, especially with friends at school. And these sets, though fairly outdated to how the game is today, still offer something cool to look back at and to display 10 years later. So yeah, that's pretty much all that I have to say for this video. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Which of these sets is your favorite? Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon to know every time I upload a new video. So yeah, that's it for now, and I will see you next time. Bye!